Setting boundaries for your children. It may sound challenging or even impossible, but our child development expert, Kendra Morgan, is here today to show us how we can build those for our little ones, and let's face it, for us too. Good morning, Kendra.
Good morning. Good morning.
So you have a boundaries workshop coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that in a minute. I want to start off with what you have on the counter.
Yeah.
A great resource here, this book, Boundaries with Kids.
Great book. So our workshop and our goals are set off of this book. It's written by Dr. Cloud and it's called Boundaries with Kids. And so we know that building boundaries makes children grow and they're healthy in a very healthy way. So children need boundaries. They're not born with boundaries. If they live in a little chaos, they're going to take it a little bit further. They like to push the limits, and so we have to set pretty firm boundaries.
You have a great graphic that you've made for us. You make these every month. I thank you so much for that. These are great.
No problem.
So why kids need boundaries, what role does a parent or guardian play in boundaries? Let's kind of start with kind of the why and the what. What boundaries, what are we talking about with boundaries?
Well, so we know, like I said earlier, they're going to push their limits. So the more that we can provide structure and provide boundaries with some rules, they're going to grow and develop better. So the reason why our role is important is we kind of do three things. One, we're guardian, so we are legally responsible for them. We're also their manager. We manage them to go to school, we manage them to go to doctor's appointments. I mean, we manage their life, but we also are a source. So we have to resource them the right tools to be able to adapt in the world that we live in. So that is our role that will influence them to have success in life.
What are some strategies for maybe some parents who are like, man, my kid doesn't have a lot of boundaries, but I'm really trying to set some, and I'm kind of, maybe not start from zero, but I'm starting from not a lot of boundaries, and I think my child really does need boundaries to thrive.
So we always say don't overdo it. Too many boundaries aren't good either. It's a healthy balance. So start with your home. Look at the home that you're in, their daily structure. When do they go to bed? What do they eat? What time do they eat? How many snacks do they have? So set some boundaries within your home. And then we also like to set boundaries out in public. So a restaurant is a really healthy place to start there. What are your expectations for them to be in a restaurant? To sit and eat? Are they going to be on a tablet the whole time? Are they going to have conversation back and forth? You have to set the expectations and some boundaries so they know how to behave in a restaurant.
And you mentioned healthy boundaries versus dangerous ones.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us the difference there.
Well, so, I mean, really, the healthy boundaries are knowing the child's age, knowing their ability to focus. They have to be in reality. Too many boundaries. The whole goal with boundaries is we want children to learn to make choices, learn yes and no, learn that their choices have consequences. So a healthy boundary is setting a boundary. When the boundary is broken, there's consequences for that boundary being broken. I think that's where parents are like, oh, it's okay, but you've got to have consequences if the boundary is broken.
I wanted to zero in on one specifically because I know that all of us have these, and all of us have bigger versions of these, and we have TVs, and we have Apple TVs and Rokus. I mean, screen time. Let's talk about boundary screen times and some advisements from you on, okay, if my child is 0 to 4, this is the screen time. If I'm like 4 to 6, 6 to 8, kind of take us through some levels of what you would suggest for screen time.
So I think screen time is overused. I think it's the world we live in. I think that there are certain times that the child does not have access to screen time. Anytime you can have a conversation, so in the car, at a restaurant, eating dinner at your table, there should be no screen time. And then you have to set boundaries with that screen time. So, you know, maybe 1 or 2 shows a day. And if they know that that is their limit, when you turn it off, they're not going to throw a fit. It actually makes your life easier, I promise, than just letting them free reign. Too much screen time, most of the time children are bears after too much screen time. They just are.
I've found that. I've found with our kids, one of the things that helps real quick with us, we do a 2-minute warning. So even if they know if it's coming up, it's like, okay, Colin, you've got 2 more minutes, because he wants to watch or thinks he wants to watch the whole movie.
Right.
It's like, okay, we've got 2 more minutes.
Right, I love that.
Honestly, it does help.
The warning thing does help. The warning and giving them, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're just stating the expectations. We're turning it off in 2 minutes. I love that. That's
How
great
about
advice.
A boundary workshop, Kendra, at the Development Center? Tell us more about this, the Development Center Chapel.
So we know how important boundaries are, but we also know boundaries are hard to set. And so we have a workshop we're offering in February. It's 4 different workshops that are going to feed off of each other Tuesday nights at the Development Center in the chapel. Janelle Carter is a speech pathologist that's going to lead them through this entire book. And so it's free to the public. We don't charge for these. We want to we want to touch as many people as we can and help as many people as you can. So go to buildingallchildren.org, scroll down to Rise and Build. That's our workshops. Click on that image, and then you can register there. We have about 50 seats, and we have about 10 left.
Okay.
So it has filled up pretty quick. So, but fill it up. We want the room to be full.
And these workshops are, what's the address closest cross street?
So it's off of 71st Street, right by 169. We always say we're close to Hobby Lobby. I feel like everybody knows where Hobby Lobby is. And
perfect.
So, yeah.
10 seats left for that one. All right. Well, Kendra, as always, we will see you next month. Thank you for your wisdom here.